Most of my life I've been terrified of marriage. As a product of a particularly painful divorce, I was determined not to put my children through what I experienced as a young boy. But 2 years ago, I met Laura, and within 5 months we were engaged. We get married in 3 weeks' time. I want to know how to make a marriage last, so I'm going to the experts for advice. Not the psychotherapists, but people who've seen it and done it. So I'm travelling around Britain to see what I can learn from successful couples. What can they tell me? How did they do it? What is their secret to a happy marriage? I need to know. I'm 3 weeks away from my wedding, and I've hardly done a thing. Laura's chosen the venue, she's sent out the invitations, she's designed the menu. The only thing I'm supposed to do is write my vows. But how? How do I vow? I vow never to pick my teeth at the dinner table. How about I vow I'll try and keep the house smelling nice? Or I vow not to slip into jogging pants when I get home? No, I should keep them realistic. I want my vows to be the foundation of a long-lasting marriage. Trouble is, I don't know that many people in long-lasting marriages. My parents divorced when I was 5, and although my grandparents made it to their diamond wedding anniversary, they passed away before I could ask them how they did it.
Which one do you want, John?
But they did leave one thing that might help me. Their 1945 marriage manual. Things seemed rather different back then.
A man is dignified and unruffled.
A woman is excitable and active.
A man has an independent line of thought.
A woman repeats herself. A woman repeats herself.
Is this for real?
Rather.
It's hard to believe this manual was read by a generation who were much more likely to stay together than we are today. I want to meet a couple who are part of that generation, so I'm off to Nottingham to see Frankie and Elsie Holmes. They've been together for 67 years. That's even longer than my grandparents.
There's Mrs. Holmes, look. Elsie, our Elsie.
Hello.
71 years ago when I first met her. And I played that, and she fell in love with me.
While Elsie stayed at home to bring up their 2 boys, Frankie made his name as a stand-up comedian. He only retired from the business 3 years ago. The thing that I wonder is, why get married?
Well, there's nothing else to do, is there? Something different, isn't it?
Well, it wasn't different in our day where you got married, but you didn't live together in those days either.
Not even when you were married?
You didn't live together because if you had, you'd have been called all sorts of names.
Yeah.
When I was looking through my grandparents' possessions, I found this book. Do you think it's the kind of thing that helped your generation make marriages last?
Oh, that's all.
No, what's it here?
Don't criticise. I'm always criticising you, the way you dress. Read a good book on the sexual side of marriage. I've never thought about reading one of those.
How do you keep the passion up in a marriage then, without obviously...
Ooh, mine stopped a long time ago. For one thing, I went. What do they call it?
Impotent.
Impotent. It's like the man got up, turned up at the door, all in his nice suit and everything, and his wife opened the door. What's the matter? He said, well, I've just been to the doctor. He says, I'm impotent, so I'm dressed impotent. And we discussed it then. And sex is a bit of a damn nuisance to me. So that Elsie said, yeah, I agree with them. Forget it then. I'm not interested. I forget all about it. Yeah.
You've got to work at marriage to keep marriage going. It's not an easy thing to keep a marriage going.
Frankie and Elsie have been working at it for nearly 70 years. That's a lot of work.
Still love you, you know.
But they're still in love. I hope Lara and I love each other as much in 70 years' time, even though that would make me 108.
Lara.
Yes, my love.
This is Laura, my fiancée. She's the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with.
Can I go to bed now?
Why do you think we're getting married?
Because we're desperate. Sorry, no, that's not true. I think we're getting married because we're desperate. We're getting married because we love each other.
She's joking. She's Italian and they have a different sense of humour. She's not desperate. She's joking. Definitely joking. I think it's important that Lara and I can share a joke. And I'm not the only one who thinks laughter is important. I've travelled to Devon to meet funny man David Fitzgerald, who agrees.
Guys, either of you two married next door? Not to each other. What? No? Not married? How have you kept your marriage together? What's the tips that you can pass on to peers? But we're also talking about, well, my good lady wife, the enemy.
David often jokes about his wife on his local radio show. He even has a name for her, the enemy. How does David get away with it? It's time to meet the enemy.
Hello, Karen. Nice to see you.
How are you doing?
Her real name is Karen.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Listen, if I minded, it wouldn't happen. I think it's fun. Everybody laughs about it. Everyone talks about it. So it's just a bit of fun. No, I love it. I run this marriage. I run this household and I run this family. Absolutely like a military operation. But the trick is to make him think that I'm doing it for him. Marriage technique.
Illustrated.
Secrets of sex, frankly, revealed. Sex organs in man's... You see, ultimately, you know, my mum and my dad, they were both virgins when they got married. So something like this would have been useful, but, you know, when we're all getting married these days...
Yeah.
You know everything about it, don't you?
This is 1 and 8 well spent.
Oh, that's lovely.
There we are. Sex organs in man.
Yeah.
Slightly
but
larger
like
than mine there, I noticed.
About. Yeah.
And is there a reason why 22 and 23 are stuck together?
David and Karen are celebrating their 6th wedding anniversary. And as ever, this involves copious amounts of friends and alcohol. And laughter. Lots and lots of it.
Hang on, my glass is empty. Panic! It was an auction, a charity auction, that we met. First prize was a bottle of gin, and I came home with her. True. One piece of advice that I can give you for a long and happy marriage is laughter.
I think a sense of humour is essential in this relationship, isn't it?
Try at least one knob joke over breakfast each day.
You can't
a new one.
say that.
You can say knob joke, it's great. Without a sense of humour, a wedge will be driven between you.
Just keep laughing.
For David and Karen, humour is the secret to their happy marriage. I wonder if I should make my vows funny. How about, Laura, I promise to stay completely silent while you park the car. I don't think she'll like that. The problem is, Laura is Italian and we're getting married over there. Will my jokes travel that far? Laura and I are from 2 very different cultures, but we're still compatible, aren't we? We both like the same newspapers. We both like the same TV programmes. She's the first girlfriend to watch Newsnight with me, but I think that's just because she fancies Jeremy Paxman. She hates the music I listen to, and I can't say I'm that keen on hers. She loves Shakespeare, but I'm more of an intellectual. So do you need to be similar to make a marriage work?
Hello. Yes. Hello, Alan. How you doing? Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Come on in.
Can I come in?
I've come to Romford, in Essex, to try and find out. I'm meeting Alan and Cass, who have been married for the last 37 years.
How important do you think it is to be similar to each other?
Cass and Alan are not similar at all. For a start, Cass likes The Guardian, while Alan reads the Daily Mail. And that's not all.
I'm very fond of war films,
Cass will watch Pride and Prejudice, which is not really my scene. Cass will go to bed and read a heavy volume. I tend to want to go to sleep.
Alan likes routine, I don't.
And Cass is very academic, and I'm not.
I'm much more generous than you are around money.
Yes. Cass, you're quite right, Cass is more generous than me.
Alan and I are just not similar. The key thing is to be tolerant and respect the other person for their differences.
Alan and Cass believe opposites attract. And as they've lasted nearly 40 years together, perhaps they do. But for Laura and I, some of our differences have caused friction. Is there anything wrong with that? I'm looking through the anniversary ads to find another couple, and here's a particularly intriguing one.
Ask any couple who have been married for 60 years the secret of their success, and they would probably say something like love, affection, support. But for Frank and Lady Kitty Giles, nothing beats a good old-fashioned argument.
When I was a young boy, I was, in the words of my mum, an argumentative little sod. But, in truth, I've never been that comfortable with confrontation.
Step forward.
I'm hoping that spending some time with Frank and Kitty will open my eyes and ears to the beauty of the heated debate.
How do you do?
Piers, I gather you wanted us to be doing something together.
We
never do anything together, do we, darling?
I think it's a tall order, that.
Oh, really? OK.
I am Frank Giles. I am about to be 89, and I've been married to my wife, Kitty, for just 62 years. The real underlying basis for a long-lasting marriage is to be in constant and vociferous argument. I'll give you an example. If you go into a restaurant and you see an elderly couple dining together and they're not saying anything to one another, well, you would never find that. And Kitty and I were having lunch. We'd be going at it hammer and tongs.
That's our view.
Yes.
And we haven't argued.
I firmly believe that, yes.
We haven't argued.
No, not on that one, no.
No.
We'll try and get a good argument going for you before this film ends.
But surely having rows every day isn't a good thing?
My advice about arguing doesn't apply to major rows. You may not avoid those, but try and avoid them. They usually they leave a scar behind.
Frank and Kitty have been together for 63 years. They say they have a good argument every day. That's over 22,000 arguments, and they're still lovely to each other. When I started making this film, I thought, in the words of a very famous Beatle, all you need is love. But now I'm beginning to realise marriage is more complicated than that. All of my life I was terrified of marriage, but then I met Laura. Now we're just 2 weeks away from our wedding, and I need to know how to make our marriage last. So armed with my grandparents' 1945 guide to marriage, I'm spending time with couples to see if I can find out the secrets of their success. And the pressure's on. I was in great shape when I met Laura, down the gym 2-3 times a week before I asked her to marry me. And then when she said yes, I relaxed. Right, that's it. I'm going down to the gym. First thing. Well, maybe not tomorrow because I have that big meeting, but definitely the next day. Oh, hang on, that's a Friday. Never start something at the end of the week. That's it, I'm definitely going for it.
Regarding physical fitness, the husband should be healthy, active, well-developed, and good-looking.
Rather.
Why am I only now going to the gym? Is it just so that I'm in shape for my big day? Should I not be concerned that I always look my best, so that Laura keeps fancying me? In my mind, I'm still young, but the competition is hot. Oh God, am I going to have to do this for the rest of my life? And if I don't, will we still have a great sex life 20 years from now? Back in 1945, it was all so easy.
An act of union, to be successfully performed, consists of 4 stages: preparation, union, afterplay, and rest.
For Barry and Marie, there's never any rest. They run this private members club in Sheffield. They've been married for 36 years. For them, variety is the spice of life.
We did a little exercise, didn't we, not so long ago, and we looked back at all the couples that we knew when we got married, around the time we got married. There's about a dozen of them. They're either divorced, separated, or having affairs. We're the only couple of the original bunch
They're still together.
that are still together.
Do you think it's possible to stay sexually attracted just to one person?
Yes, it is, but it's not fun. I think
It's a personal thing, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's what you want out of life.
But if you're going to be honest, after you've been married 10 years, it gets samey, for want of a better word. So to cut a long story short, really, we decided to try swinging and see if we could cope with the jealousies and frustrations and all the rest of it, and insecurities, what plagued most marriages, really.
Upstairs, Barry and Marie's club is just a normal bar. But each week, up to 100 couples make the journey downstairs to have recreational sex with people they've just met. Barry and Marie believe that swinging is the secret to their successful marriage.
We realised immediately we weren't jealous. We'd lost the jealousy, because jealousy is the killer of most relationships. I mean, how many times do you see guys in streets wanting to look at other women when their wives are there, and they don't even look? And if they do look, she throws a mood in for 3 weeks and has a big round. What kind of relationship is that? A guy can't even look at another woman, which is perfectly normal for a man and a woman to do. Jealousy is the one thing that kills relationships more than any other thing in this world. Lose jealousy and your relationship will last forever.
I want my relationship to last forever, but I don't think I'd be happy with my wife sleeping with Barry. There's just a week to the wedding, and I'm still struggling with my vows. Okay, how about I promise not to get jealous when you take more than your share of the duvet? Or I promise to share the remote control? Nah, only joking. No, I need to be more responsible. Laura and I both work, but we never seem to have any money. So how about I vow to manage our finances perfectly, so you'll never have to know how much we owe. Is it like this for all young couples? I'm on my way to see Tom and Claire. They're the same age as Laura and me, but they're having to make their money stretch even further.
I think that the fact that, we're not so well off these days, I suppose it's credit crunch, isn't it? It does cause issues, and it certainly has for us, and I think partly that's more the fact that we've just had a baby and I haven't been working.
Do you want your dinner?
Tom and Claire have had a baby son, Jack. How has their life changed now they have an extra mouth to feed?
So the sleepless nights don't make you more grumpy with each other or anything like that?
Well, they did to start with. They don't really get sleepless nights anymore. They did, first 2 or 3 months. But we just worked it out. He's completely posing. You can be poor and happy. I know it sounds really cheesy, but you can. As long as you've got enough money to pay your mortgage and everything, it doesn't actually matter. Essentially, there's got to be a fundamental problem with the relationship if you let money get in the way. It's not worth arguing about.
Do you want to buy a house for friends?
Claire's advice was right. Money really doesn't matter if you're in love. And I'm in love. It's only 2 days away from my wedding, and I've got one last visit to make. I've come to see my dad for some last-minute advice.
Hello.
Come on.
Hello, Dad.
Hi.
How are you doing?
All right.
I know his marriage to my mum didn't work, but second time round he's made it last. He's been married to Jane for 25 years. Because I experienced divorce as a young boy, and it hit me quite hard, I'm determined not to get divorced myself. And so I was just wondering what you thought of that. What do you think of my chances?
I think you've got a very good chance of not being divorced. Most people, a lot of people that get divorced marry young and then get divorced. So quite often they get divorced in the 20s or early 30s. You're more mature, so the chances of that, I think, are less. Give us space, freedom and love. That's all I'd say. And that way, let's hope you have a long, happy marriage and plenty of children.
Hearing my dad say he thinks my marriage to Laura will work means everything to me. Now I'm starting a different journey, one I hope will last for the rest of my life. I'm flying out to Italy to join my friends and family for the big day.
You've got to work at marriage to keep marriage going.
Just keep laughing.
Lose jealousy and your relationship will last forever.
The key thing is to be tolerant.
Is to be in constant and vociferous argument.
You can be poor and happy, and that sounds really cheesy, but you can.
You feeling nervous, Piers?
Go for it.
You're super nervous.
James, no.
He's super nervous.
Today's the day. In 3 hours' time, I'll be married. And I finally know what to write. Spending time with all these couples has helped me realise what is important in a relationship. Laura, I promise to try to see argument as healthy debate and not the end of the world. To treat you as an equal and respect our share of the duties that make a fair partnership. To trust you and be aware of the dangers of jealousy.
In the red corner.
To give you the love and the freedom you need, confident you'll come back to me.
Where's your hairdryer?
But most of all, I've learnt that you must work at a marriage, that when things get tough, you don't run away. I think these are the ideals that my grandparents had. Okay, so, a year and a half of planning, 2.5 years of relationship. I'm going to get married.
What happens when a fixation with felines takes over your life? Pussies Galore is our first cut next Friday at 7:35. Well, don't go anywhere because we're only 1 minute away from that roller coaster ride, the Big Brother finale.